7 in the morning. It's 7 in the morning.
A few days ago, is it vegetarian better than eating meat? The short answer is no. Although it is a step up from, eating steaks and eating burgers, it still falls in poor health. We were never meant to be baby cows. Therefore, we do not digest milk properly. In fact, anytime you eat a secretion from an animal, you got to realize that there are health ramifications. Actually, milk, dairy, cheese products. That our community need to organize, our community need to get together, we need to stop the violence. Do you not realize that those same people that you want to stop violence are minerally deficient? They eating Popeyes all day, hot Cheetos, hot sausages, they're eating foods that are void of minerals, they're eating honey buns, they're dehydrated. How can they logically get together and organize and act civilized? It's impossible. You need B vitamins, you need vitamin D, vitamin E, fatty acids in order to even utilize the body in a way that allows you to have common sense. What you're asking the community to do, they can't do.
I'm about that action. I'm about that action. I do it with a passion. I'm about that action. I'm about that action. I'm about that action. I do it with a passion. I'm about that action. I'm about that action.
Welcome to About That Action. I'm your host, Will, and I interview people from all over the world that comes from humble beginnings and understand that it takes more than just wanting and wishing to make things happen, but it takes action. And because of that action, I have Miss Orisha. That's correct? I'm bad with names, so Miss Orisha and Grizzly, CEO of Surviving Vegan. Once again,
Grizzy.
huh?
Grizzy.
Grizzly. What I said, man?
It's Grizzy. Grizzy.
Grizzy. Grizzy. There you go. I don't know why I say Grizzly. I don't even know why, man. But first and foremost, I appreciate y'all and just thank y'all for accepting us. Basically, my platform is I always like to highlight just people that came from different walks of life, came from really from nothing, was able to change their life into doing something, no matter the background, no matter the cards that you was dealt, you was able to get them and make something out of it. You know, I've spoken to all type of companies, gang members that changed their life all over. So first and foremost, I want to know how we start from the beginning. How and where did y'all grow up? How did y'all grow up and where did y'all grow up?
How you doing? So good to see you, good brother.
Good to see you. Good to see you.
Yes. I grew up I grew up in Florida. You said, where did we grow up and how did we start, right?
Well, yeah. Where did y'all grow up and how you grew up? Basically, your family setting and all that. Yes, yep.
Okay. So I grew up in Miami, Florida. Like literally, my grandma was the first lady of a Baptist church, so I was in church every Sunday. My mom had a government job, so we were provided for. But my mom and dad split when I was probably, I had to be younger than 7. I was younger than 7, and I just remember being so depressed at that time, but I couldn't vocalize that. And I remember, only being able to go to my dad's house twice a month, 3 days, well, actually 6 days out of the month. So on the outside, I know that I seemed happy, but now that I'm adult, I realized that I was actually depressed.
Right.
I ate a lot of junk food, but I excelled in school. I definitely am grateful for my parents and the things that they did provide because they never really allowed me to go to schools that didn't cultivate the talents that I had. Throughout middle school and high school, I was in theater, so I have a background in that. I always gone to magnet schools, as they call them here in South Florida. But overall, I think I had a great childhood, minus the generational trauma that came with it.
Right. I think we all kind of possess a little bit of that generation curses and drama.
Yeah.
How about you, good man?
Man. I'm a native to South Florida, Opelika to be exact.
I never heard of that part.
Yeah, Opalaka, man. Opalaka, that's a small part, but they make a big impact.
Okay.
Man, I grew up. I'm the oldest of four. I have three younger brothers under me. I actually got two. My daddy had two other children outside of the family. So about was six of us then.
Right.
As a child, I went through a lot, man. My father was on. I didn't know my father until I was like 8, 9 years old. He was incarcerated as soon as I was born, or right before I was born. My mom and my dad was like the age of 20 when they first had me, and he ended up getting incarcerated, did like a 9-year sentence. And
Right.
I met him when I was 9 years old. Upon meeting him, he was actually a drug addict. Upon coming home, hard on the cocaine, the crack, or whatever it was. Went through a lot of ups and downs with that. Very traumatizing.
Right.
Growed up really with my grandfather and my grandmother and my mother. My grandmother actually died a little early on. She actually caught a stroke and was bedridden for some years in the home. Granddaddy was an alcoholic. He loved me, but he was an alcoholic.
Right.
You know, he was fighting his demons,
Right.
his traumas. Mom worked all the time, 9 to 5, taking care of her sons. Worked late nights. Sometimes I didn't even see her all day. She used to work for the post office. Thank God we was able to retire her this past December. Got her out of that system.
Congrats, definitely.
More on me though, as far as my childhood, man. The childhood was very dramatic, man. I just remember I went to Rainbow Park Elementary, North Dade Middle, HML, that's the high school, and then I finished off in American Senior High. Although I had trauma at all of it was, those pains of growing up, learning who you are as a young male with really no representation. Uncles, they were in the dope game. They sold dope for a long time. One of my uncles, he actually cleaned his life up and started being in the church a little more. Left the streets alone. One of my other uncles, he ended up moving away. And I hadn't seen him for a long time till recently. Yeah, man, that's really what it is, man. As I got older, got into a lot of fights, a lot of brawls, like, again, learning the identity of self, and got to this point in my life, where I'm at today.
Right, definitely. I wanted to touch on something you just said about retiring your moms. I actually did see y'all recorded that a while back. I seen that. So I think how powerful was that? 'Cause that's something I definitely want to do for my mom. Definitely before I leave this earth, or before she leaves this earth, that's something that I would like to give back to my moms. How powerful that was for you?
For me as a son, man, I'm gonna be honest. I told the wife this. I was like, it didn't even feel like something irregular. It was like it's something that you're supposed to do.
Right.
And so when I went through the moles of it, I was very calm, calm, copacetic about it, because the energy was just like, oh, this what I'm supposed to been doing. As we went through the process, as she received it, to see her, filled with emotion. She been working on the post office for 30 years, and she would have conversations with me and the queen and be like, yo, like, yeah, my body getting tired, I don't know what we're gonna do, what I'm gonna do. I don't feel like going back and forth to the doctor, XYZ. And me and the wife, we just was sitting down. I was like, man, it's about that time. Her mom actually had retired on her own. And then it's like my mom, it's like, nah, man, mom been raising 4 boys for a long time. We gotta do something. I can't let mom go out like that. So I was really like torn about it. I was like, man, can we do it? Are we able to do it? Will we succeed in doing it? And we got to a point where it was like, man, freak it. Let's do it. We
get it
make
done.
money. We're going to take the leap. We wasn't hurting for no money. It's just like, yo, let's just put it. We gave her 50K. 50K was the upfront investment into her new future.
Right.
And we do it legitimized too. We brought her on the company structure. So she works under the brand. She fell right in place. She takes care to make sure the kids good, everything like that. So we still kept the structure strong. You know what I'm saying? just for paperwork purposes. You gotta make
right. Nah, definitely, that's definitely dope, and I definitely like that you kind of kept it within the family. It's definitely dope. So, how did y'all meet? My understanding, y'all met like in your teens, correct?
Yeah.
Like around 16, 17-ish?
Yeah, about 17. We was in 2007. We met. 2007.
He wrote me a message on Facebook. He said,
So,
hey,
so check a box, yes or no?
I don't know what the checker box was, but it definitely was on MySpace. MySpace, you know, back in the
yes,
was popping, man. So that's where I met her at. Not too far away from me. I actually stayed probably like 10 minutes away.
Yeah, but we just had never met. That's crazy that we never met.
We knew certain rolled in the same circle, so you know how that go.
Right.
Yeah, we met that at that age, been together, going on 13 years now.
Yeah, congrats. Oh yeah, definitely congrats on your engagement. It's definitely a blessing, and definitely it's great. So from the time that y'all met almost until y'all started I'm Surviving Vegan, what are we doing? Y'all have kids together, right? Correct?
Yeah,
and are y'all prepping to make the transition to I Am Surviving Vegan, or that's not even a factor right now? That's not even the thought process.
What you
at what point though? What point?
I'm talking about from y'all kind of making it official with y'all up until maybe a few years right before.
I let her dive in on that.
So much, me dealing with just my depression that I was still carrying. I definitely was trying to look for love outside of myself, as a lot of our Black women do.
Right.
So I was definitely lost. I was the clubber, the partier, the drinker. I was going to Bethune-Cookman at the time. I was drinking, partying, popping, ecstasy. I was doing everything. Like, it was nothing vegan about me. Like, my food was chicken selects, McDonald's fries, KFC. That was all I ate. So yeah, I was not on.
I'm trying to stop that now.
Yeah.
I'm on my way. I'm on my way.
That was our early stages. I was wild, man. I was lost and wild, just like most of the young brothers is, trying to find a pal, copycatting.
Right.
Friends. And we ended up coming across each other, and we didn't know how to express no emotions. We just locked in.
Right.
As we got older, we went through a lot of hiccups, a lot of relationship problems, separations, and all that good stuff, the normal, the infidelity, all that done happened. We went through all that, and we used to take our breaks. We used to get back. We had our first daughter at the age of 20. We were turning 20. I had actually just been incarcerated. My daughter was literally, how was our daughter? She was a few months.
No. When you got incarcerated, I got.
Oh no! I'm sorry. I actually, I got the first time I got incarcerated was when we was like 19, and then when I came home, did like a year in jail. Came home, we got back on beat. She ended up getting pregnant with our first daughter. It was around 2021 at that time. Then ended up going back to jail. Went back to jail right after the daughter was born. A few months after, did another 11 months in jail. Came home from that. We worked it out again. Started back. One of the things that we always was on. We was always on our entrepreneur game. We always had that energy about us. Whether I was in the streets or whether she was trying to figure out a new business or whatever it was, we had an entrepreneur gift, and we ended up. Our first venture was poetry. We got into poetry, so we was already on the holistic wave without even. We ain't was realizing that we just liked the vibe. We was like, let's open up a poetry, try something different. So we rented out a club. We used to get artists, poetry, we used to get singers, comedians that come out to our poetry night. We did good for a little minute. Then our relationship got in the middle of it. We started beefing again, going through it.
And then he left. He was standing in the business by myself. He was like, we ain't together. I can't be here and all this stuff. But when he left, I tried to carry it on, but we figured out he's a logical part of our relationship. So I needed him to do it. I can put together the image, or I could put together the talent part of it, but I needed him for the system part. So when he left, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
It probably lasted maybe like 2 or 3 more months after that, and I closed it down.
And then, after that, we worked out our relationship again. We got back together.
Had more children.
We had more children. We had our son around that time. And then we went into the next business venture, which was, I believe, real estate. I think it was our next. Yeah, we went into real estate, wholesaling. Got into that, made a little money in that, and then relationship again. Every time relationship, there was a relationship problem all through the process,
so
man.
Every time we got into a relationship
issue, business just went out the window.
Yeah, business out the window.
We had our third child. We had our third child.
It feel like a trend.
It's a trend. It's a trend. Listen, it's definitely been a trend. It's definitely been a trend.
But when I got pregnant with the third child, when I got pregnant with her, something just changed. It was a shift within us. It was actually seeing the death of Eric Garner. That really just ignited something in us, and we were like, "What is this? Is there something more to life? Like, let's figure it out."
We were trying to figure out why it keep happening to us like this. As people, we at the end of the day, you see it on the news, you see people dying, you see, police brutality and all that stuff, but like it was just different at that point. It was like, why does this keep happening? And we was older then.
Right.
We got children now. We thinking a little different. We want a little better for our life, and it just took us on the journey to like figure out, and that set us on a journey.
That's what started all this that we have today.
That time, and that was like at the beginning of what 2000.
Is it 2015?
That was the end of the 2015, I think, or going into
2015. Yeah.
I actually was in prison. Not prison. I was in jail, the county jail. I had did about a month in jail off of the damn domestic that we had. We got into a damn fight.
Yeah, we've been through it all.
Yes, man. Ain't nothing no. So you did your time. How was that that transition from that last period from jail to coming home? What was mentally going on with you?
Mentally, I was on the two last time I'm gonna say this, because when the situation happened with Eric Garner, I was in jail and I was going through a spiritual awakening type of thing.
Right. More
so on the Christianity side, I was just going through understanding it more, getting deeper into the knowledge and what it really all was. And then I came home. We went through that whole spiel about Eric Garner and just enlightening ourselves, and we ended up tapping into Hidden Colors by Tariq Nasheed. Hidden Colors, man. Hidden Colors was
eye-opening.
Man, beyond eye-opening.
We sat in the living room and just cried.
It changed our lives, seriously. But to fast forward, I ended up going back to prison. I went to prison this time, not just jail, county jail. I actually went to prison, federal prison,
right, in
2017, based off of old charges that I was of scamming. I used to be in the scamming gang, fraud, and stuff caught up to me from like 2014. And I had literally left that life alone. I wasn't doing nothing. I had to change my mindset. We working. My daughter had a lemonade business. I hadn't got to the lowest of the lowest, like with in financial wise. Like I was just tired of that lifestyle. And I just remember the day in early 2017. I won't forget. I think it was January. What was it? February 1st. It was either February 1st or January 30th. One of the two. And U.S. Marshals, they kicked in. They hit the house. They got me up out of there. They took me in. I went into custody. Interrogation, all that good stuff, and I ended up getting out on bond. Stayed out for a few months before I had to go do my 18-month bid in the feds. And through that process, though, that was the life-changing process for me.
He was vegan inside of there, or he was pescatarian?
I was pescatarian. We had already went vegan outside right before that happened in early, late 2015, going to 2016. But when that hit and I had to go in, I tried to maintain, so I went back to pescatarian because it ain't too many vegetables and fruits that you can get inside the prison system. But through that process, man, I went through a journey of figuring out, am I going to come home and be an asset this time, or I'm going to be a liability once again?
Right.
And I chose to be an asset. So through the process, all I was doing was building me up, like learning different knowledge, whether it was spiritual knowledge, whether it was business knowledge, taxes, all that good stuff I was doing. And simultaneously, while she was on the outside raising the children, but going through her healing process.
I was healing. I was meditating like 6 hours a day. I was like, when he come, because I know he wasn't doing anything. So I was like, when he come home, it got to be different. Like, I don't want finances to be something that we're worried about.
Right.
I was
Yep.
asking the Most High to just show us, well, what we're supposed to be doing. What's my purpose? So, like, for 3 months straight, I was meditating about 6 hours, sometimes 3 to 6 hours a day, every day. And that really just helped me to remove a lot of the mental toxicity, spiritual toxicity. And on top of that, I was detoxing as well. I was already vegan. So I was just like at my highest high at that time.
Yeah. And on top of her doing that, I was working on me. So it was like, without us really even knowing what was going on with each other, we was working on, and we was beefing through that process too. We still had some relationship stuff going on at that time.
Right.
We was just working. We was working through the process, but just working on us at this point. It wasn't even about me and her no more. It was literally about working on us internally.
Individually, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And then once I was released from prison, it was all go. It was all go. It wasn't an easy transition home. You know, you still got the I can't even say the homies, because I wasn't even dealing with none of the homies no more. It was more so closer, like my brothers and what they was doing, how they was moving, and just getting sucked back in was a task to just stay focused. And man, I just remember waking up, man, every day, like, yo, I remember it being in that cell. I was like, yo, I can't go back. I can't go back. And with the queen in my ear, making sure that I'm on my P's and Q's, it was like,
I was not playing. I was like, listen.
Right, not
like, no. Absolutely.
Right. You know, sometimes we as men, we need that. Grizzy, you posted something on and I don't know if you posted something on September 24th, 2018, and you talk about how you just got out of prison and how it was hard, and you was like literally in front of a bus stop. And then for me, that was powerful, because then I fast forward to today and to see where you are. Was that I guess result of, I know y'all talk about a lot of manifestation and stuff like that. Was that a result of that? And how do you feel? I don't know if you've seen it in a while, but how do you feel when you look back at that and then look where you are right now, or even both of y'all situation?
I'll be honest with you. Beyond that, jail is engraved in my skull. It's there, like I can just see something and it remind me of going back that way. So the bus stop was just a testimony phase for me. And when I look back at it, it make me smile, because I'm like, dang, I know how I felt at that time. I didn't know what I was gonna do, but I knew I was gonna do something. Right. And that, like, for me, is like, I literally just got off Instagram lives a few minutes ago, and I'm so mad because I was rushing in here to get on the meeting with you that I didn't get a chance to say it. I told everybody that's watching, I was like, man, y'all share this video. But it was powerful because ultimately that point in time for me, again, was a reflection of me just sticking to the journey. You know, I literally stuck to the journey. I didn't fall or fold. And it wasn't an easy transition. It wasn't easy beating myself. Literally, it wasn't beating nobody else, but beating myself from going backwards or doing something that'll get me back in the situation, or giving myself them self-sabotaging thoughts of I'm not gonna make it type of thing, man. And so when I look back at that and looked at that, I'd be like, yo, I'm a stronger dude. Even from then, I was strong at that point. I came out strong because it ain't too many people out here ready to put that on the line, you know, and talk about that aspect of when I'm just coming home, riding a bus and being motivated by it. So, you know, yeah, man.
That right there is it was really powerful, just for me, and just to have, and just the fact that you recorded it. I mean, you could have thought about it, and then when you think about it, sometimes the image get a little blurry, but you to have it a recorded something, you could show the youth or the youth or your partners, like, yo, listen, I was literally right here waiting for the bus. I ain't have the cars or the money or whatnot at that point. It was something I heard from somebody, because you were just talking about you had to keep going. Someone said it was it's power and consistency. Yes. So for you to keep going and keep pushing it, and your wife to keep pushing you to keep going, that right there in his own self is a testimony, because a lot of times we do battle. This joint is mostly mental.
Yeah, 90%. 90%.
It's mental. What do you think you'd have been if you didn't make that shift?
Back in prison. I would have been back in prison. It's because at the end of the day, it's already stacked against us. You know what I'm saying? To beat the odds, your energy got to be pure out here. Like, because everything already working against us. There's no way, you know, at the end of the day, to beat this. Yeah, you got some people beat it, but that's not the majority.
Yeah, and then most people are eating junk foods, you know, chicken, Popeyes, fast food, whatever.
Clarity of mind.
Yeah, and all of those chemicals, they alter your mental state. They alter your ability to access your intelligence. Like, it's serious. People are like, oh, it's not that deep. No, you don't know it's that deep. But there's a reason why they put chemicals in the food. It's not only just to preserve it. Those chemicals alter the way you interact.
And how you think.
Yes.
My mental, I definitely could testify to my mental being more clearer, not just because of the food. And this is what we teach people in Surviving Vegan, man. Like, it's a spiritual, mental, and physical.
Shift.
It's shift. And we can talk about the food, but veganism isn't just food to us. Veganism rids toxins from your body because you're eating pure. But we also like to rid toxic thoughts. We like to rid toxic people. Anything that presents toxicity to us has to be alleviated. So for us, it stems all the way back to culture shift. Helping us understand that we needed to alter the culture, because our culture is what matters. It ain't about changing the community. It's about changing the culture that breathes life into the community. Once you get to the root of it, you can change everything else. The limbs gonna be green and flourish. So that's when we made that culture shift. It took us down the path of understanding how to eat properly, understanding that eating properly cleanses the body and gives us better thinking habits. And then from that, now that manifests into physical realm. Now everything around us is uplifted. My diet not just uplifted, my life is uplifted. The people around me that I interact with are uplifted. The things that I build are uplifted. All that came as one.
Yeah, that's one thing that was very like mind-blowing for me in the beginning, because I understand why there's billions of dollars spent on keeping you distracted, dietarily distracted, or dietarily distracted, mentally distracted, physically distracted. Because when you tap in on all levels, mind, body, and spirit, especially people of African descent, our culture is about harmony, right? Our culture is about using everything on this green earth to keep us in harmony. So I understand why billions of dollars are spent on keeping you out of harmony, keeping you fighting yourself. You fight yourself with every piece of slice of cake you put in your mouth. You fighting yourself because you're really wanting to live, but you're eating toxicity, which is going to work directly against you. But I don't, on Instagram, I'm very radical and things like that. But when I work one-on-one with people, or like I have a Surviving Vegan Academy, which is launching in a few weeks.
Yes.
I don't approach them like, you just got to stop eating. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. I say that to get you through the door. But when I really start to work with you, it's about reprogramming the mind. Like, we have cultural ties to sugar from the slave trade, being traded for sugar. So we got a wound that is very deep with a lot of food. The culture is to be toxic right now. So we working not only on just a physical level, because if it was only about the food, you would wake up today and say, I'm going vegan, or I'm only going to eat salads. I'm going to do this detox, and you would stick to it. But why don't you stick to it?
So,
right?
Yeah. So this is all that is to say that transition I made, this is how it all ties in to the company structure that we have today, because it was a mental shift that I had to go through. But through my diet, through culture, all that shifted before I even got to being able to even say that I can get on a video and do anything. I wouldn't have did that 2-3 years ago before that.
Oh, no.
I wouldn't have did that 5 years ago.
No.
But
literally, the dispute that we got into was because you had to catch the bus.
Like, yeah. Like, real talk. So, like, all that played a part in who I was at that point, who I was when I went into the prison the last time, and who I am today. That shift that we speaking about.
No, right. That's definitely incredible. What are some of the steps, I guess, to manifestation?
Some of the steps.
Three principles.
We have 3 principles that we follow, that we teach other people, that we use in our life, which is discover, release, manifest. That is the journey that you take to get you to manifestation. You got to discover what toxins you have in your spirit, in your mind, in your diet, in your environment. We need to acknowledge it, not to blame anybody or put blame on self or feel bad about the decisions that we made. it's just to acknowledge the fact that everything ain't everything. Everything ain't right.
I want to give a example of discover, like, and when she say not to put blame, like really analyze your life. And let's go back to our childhood and think about the traumatic things that we might have experienced as a child that we don't like to talk about today. Because why? It might embarrass one of our elders. It might shine a negative light on one of our parents. You know, let's be honest about that, because when you're honest about it, now you can heal it. So, for instance, when I was younger, my mom worked all the time. That was a negative for me. And it left me in a feeling, because first of all, my dad wasn't there. Then my mom worked all the time. It left me with an inadequate feeling. It left me feeling like I wasn't truly loved. You know what I'm saying? But as children, you're not told to express that or talk about that. You talk bottle that up, and you take that bottled upness all the way to your adulthood. Some people say they leave and die. So and you express it. So when we say discover, be honest with yourself and discover what you really been through. Sometimes we suppress it. That's why it's a discover process, because if you
forever be discovering.
You feel me? Because if you suppress it, sometimes we don't remember half the stuff we went through because it was so traumatizing that we don't even want to think about it no more.
You have to survive. So you definitely have to discover. Like, we constantly discovering. We live for discovering, because we like discovering and releasing. You know, we know
we gonna manifest.
We know we gonna manifest
once we figure out what we don't know, or what's deep inside of it,
or what's blocking us. Like, every time I go through something, or every time we're communicating, or it doesn't matter what it is, I'm always asking, why did this certain incident trigger me? Why do I feel this way? Why am I upset at this when it has nothing to do with me? Like, what is it? So I always try to get to the source of things so I can release it, right? Again, African culture is all about using symbols. So now that we acknowledge the things that are in our life that ultimately is destructive, how do we release those things? Through spiritual baths. Water is an example of transformation. Water is an example of purity. So we do spiritual baths. We do fire letters where we release and write out everything we need to say to an abuser or abusive situation. And we burn it, because fire represents destruction, right? And we just do different little tools like that to help us to go through that process of discovering, releasing, and then manifest.
But the thing with the release phase is the releasing, like you said, like toxic situation or people that's done negative to you. It don't necessarily mean somebody had to touch you or do something so harmful to you. But again, let's use the example of a mother and father. That experience is something I got to release. It's something, even I done figured it out. I figured out that this is something that I bottled up, feeling this inadequate feeling. I discovered that. Move to release. How do I let go of this inadequate feeling? What do I have to do? Do I need to talk to my mom about it? What if your mama don't want to talk? What if she don't understand? Do I keep it? Do I hold on to it just because she don't want to let it go? No, I gotta let it go. So, like the Queen said, we do that through spiritual baths. We do that through fire letters, writing it out, literally writing the letter to whoever you want to direct it to. Maybe you can't give it to them, but take it outside and go burn it. A lot of universe, fire represents rebirth, new beginnings. Burn it out. So figuring out your release mechanism is the key as well. Some people don't release in those ways. Those are our things, but you might release by going to the gym and working out. But intentional. Be intentional about using that release mechanism as that release, period. That's it. Just use it for that specifically. Don't use it, I'm just going to the gym to work out. But in the back of your mind, you're dealing with something, you just need to get it off. I'm like, all right, I'm going to go to the gym, burn off steam, whatever, let it go. But you really let it go.
So what does I know y'all talk about a lot of fasting and manifestation. How does that relate?
Detoxing. So we talk about detoxing and manifestation. So before we go there, so back with the system of discover, release, then manifest, after you release though, when you rid yourself of that energy, you basically got a void that's there now. What do you fill that void with? We fill it with abundance. Once we release that negative, once we release them toxic people, once we release those toxic thoughts, we fill it with positive thoughts. We fill it with positive people. We fill it with endless amount of money. That's what we do. That's manifestation. That's the system. Then we allow the universe, the Most High God, to pour into that spot that's now open. You ain't holding that baggage no more.
Yeah. You open yourself up to be able to receive. You're showing that I'm doing the work to rid my body of toxins. And that brings me to your point of why do we pair detoxification with manifestation? Because it's all about the release. The release is an important part. You can't pour more water in a cup that's already full, right? So if you're full with toxic thoughts, toxic environments, toxic people, toxic food, how do you have room to receive? And even those that do receive, you can point them out, you know, in the form of they haven't released their toxicity. Because now we have people that have all the money that they can have, but they still depressed, they still fighting, they still gossiping, they still in all this drama. I don't want to have money and be that way, because one thing we realized is money don't change nothing but just being able to pay your bills. And yes, we deserve to not have that financial burden, but after that, you like,
what is money?
You don't even feel whole, right? You don't feel whole.
Right.
So we couple detoxing with manifestation because we're physically, remember I said everything's about symbols, right? We're physically doing that detox and we're physically removing the waste from our body. So it starts to retrain the mind and pair something positive with something positive. Right now we got positive thoughts paired with negative things. We want the $1 million lifestyle, but we eating the $5 diet. We want the $1 million friends,
but we eat $1,000 steaks. We got some brothers they eat $1,000 steaks, and we like, yo, you come on, you a leader now.
Yeah, you got to pair that good lifestyle that you have with good habits, so that you can have that optimal wellness experience.
So what about, I guess, some people that you ever heard of like food deserts? Like it's just, I guess it's just right. So it's areas in where certain access to healthy certain foods is limited. So for somebody that want to get more involved in that, getting more involved in veganism and manifestation and stuff like that, but I don't necessarily have the money or the access to it. How can a person get to it?
One thing about it, people be wanting to eat all these delicacies and they be wanting to eat all these fine things. Like literally, you can live off of legumes, complete proteins, complete nutrients such as beans. You can live off of that. As long as you have let me say it again. As long as you have protein, carbs, and fat, you can live off of that. Those are your macronutrients that you need. So if you have access to protein, carbs, and fat, and you can get those through plant-based sources, such as beans, such as legumes, right? Such as grains, right? Spelt, wheat, whatever it may be, such as avocado, things like that. You could create it, but we be wanting stuff to be all.
I ain't gonna lie. I feel like, which I never lived in a food desert, and maybe I can be wrong about this, but I don't think you can tell me that it's no fruit nowhere you at.
But just the way they, not to cut you off, but you know how the way they even making their fruits now, because I even want to get more involved in it. It feels like even the GMOs with the fruits is not the same way that you're growing outside of your backyard or whatnot.
Well, ultimately, no.
It's like you picking the one that have the less amount of toxins in it.
But that's the process. That's the process. That's what you got to go through, especially until you get yourself to the next level.
Yeah, you're doing this to get to the next level. Like food desert is not where you're going to stay. That's what
Right.
Where you're going to stay, though. You're going to get to a point where you build your own communities, that you have your own farmland, that you control your own food source, which is our birthright.
It's a thought process, though. It's a mental shift again, because if you shift yourself, I'm going to eat more fruits. I'm going to eat more vegetables. Because a lot of people, you say you're in a food desert, but you don't even like to eat fruits and vegetables. You don't like to eat it. You ain't been raised up to eat fruits, but you used to eat.
That's it.
So, I mean, I think that they give themselves, and again, I haven't been there, so I'm speaking from just my perspective. I think that it's a truth and it's a lie to that. You got to be ready to go on the journey. Like we had one of the sisters that's a part of our family. She's out of Brooklyn, if I'm not mistaken. She got on the live with us one day. She was like, it's a food desert here, but I've been vegan for X amount of years. She made a choice, a conscious mental shift in them brick walls. Because in Brooklyn, that's all it is, brick everywhere. It ain't no greens. I went up to New York one time. I ain't like it at all because I've never been around nothing that's all Brooklyn.
I'm from New York.
You remember? Only time I see how much bricks is in prison.
Right.
So you can go up there and see how much no greenland it is there. And I'm from Miami, where we might have a whole bunch of greenland, but we can see stuff. We can see plants and stuff growing. Yo, it's a mental shift. Because I'm pretty sure you can go to the grocery store and get some oranges. You can go get you some apples. You might not like them.
It's definitely gonna be
right.
It's definitely gonna be a retraining process, but it's doable. as long as you remember protein, carbs, and fat, hydrate. As long as you stick to that, instead of saying, oh, I don't want to eat this, or I only have to eat this, we're listening. We are supposed to eat to supply the body with nutrients. That's what eating is for. It's not for you to taste, for it to taste good, for you to feel good, for you to be in love with it. No, it's for you to supply the body with nutrients so the body can carry out its functions and keep you alive. So knowing that we're programmed through commercials and things like that, it makes it harder. But that's why the healing journey is very important, so that you have the confidence and the self-esteem to care enough about your body that you do the right things for your body.
Right, and I think a lot of us is, even with all the information, we still we still uneducated about it, because there was a time, like I think last year, I wanted to do, and I still wanted to go vegan. I still want to do that, but last year I tried, but I think the only information I really knew about it was the no meat process, and only thing I started eating more vegan processed food, and that might have defeated the whole purpose. Yeah. Just go in the store to get it right. So how can I'm saying, how can someone, I guess, in that situation, they're uneducated but still want to get the information and get it right?
That's what Iamsurviving Vegan is for. That's right. Why the platform, if you're not going, at the end of the day, a lot of people don't go do their own research. That's just right. What that is.
That's like, true. That's
look for somebody to be that person or that company or whatever to forge the way, and we follow the trend. Mm-hmm. That's what it is. So, with Iamsurviving Vegan, we're intentional about guiding the people to where they need to be, to that end goal or that overall goal of more health. More health equals wealth. We intentional about that. We ain't leading you down the rabbit hole where there ain't no greens at. We lead you down the rabbit hole to where you're going to find a plethora of everything you need. And we do that through shifting the mind, helping you see things differently, making it the information more feasible for you. We ain't talking in code. We break it fully down.
Yeah, so you have to just be accountable for self. Nobody is coming to save you. You got to save yourself. Like, that's just the end of it. You got to be accountable. You were born and blessed with this temple. It's your job to learn, like, this temple. Like, it's crazy that we're human beings and don't even know what happened to the food after we put it in our mouth. We just know we poop it out. But do we understand that process? So we got to be accountable for ourselves, especially if you have children.
And that's a good point. I think a lot of us are trying to survive. I just basically, me growing up in New York and me and my mom being the single person in the house, single mother, she was just trying to survive. So we can get,
That's the trick. They keep you traumatized, right? There's a reason why they only show you trauma on the news, in the movies, in the TV, in the music. Like, there's a reason for that, because when you're traumatized, when you're stressed about paying your bills, you cannot think long term. You're only thinking about today and maybe next week. That's as far as your attention span can go. So you got to realize all of that is embedded and weaved into the process to keep you where you at. But like he said, thank God our ancestors worked so hard to get us to a certain point of liberation. Now it just takes you taking the shackles off your mind and redirecting your path. And that ain't easy. We're definitely going to say it's not easy, but it's doable. But we did it.
Yeah, definitely did it, man. I have no, at the end of the day, coming from where I've come from and things I've been through, I don't sugarcoat it. Like, I might help guide you through the process, but like she said, like, you got to make the decision. Like, because we can talk all day about the struggle. We can talk all day about the foot on our neck. We can talk about that all day. That's been there. Like, we talk about this pandemic situation, and we like, oh, we're in a pandemic. Our community's been in pandemics.
Right.
Years. So what is the difference now? So you got to walk through the smoke screen and take back your liberty.
Yeah.
Like, and that's taking it back through your food is very important.
That's the first thing.
People don't see, you got more people running towards financial stability than running towards health. Right. That's the reality. That's the true reality. But people not realizing that it costs more to be unhealthy. Right. When you get sick as hell, you got cancer, and you got to go to this doctor, and you ain't got no insurance, or your insurance is trash, you're going to get trash treatment. It costs more. It costs to get that chemotherapy.
And not even that, the point of that you only know chemotherapy. Like, you don't know anything else.
You don't know how to heal yourself.
You gotta make yourself sick in an attempt to be healthy, because they're not selling you a cure. They're attempting to make you healthy through poisoning you, right? And we ain't gonna get off a tangent on that, but the sense of it is, do you know how to make conscious decisions about your health? Because I guarantee you, when you dying, you ain't gonna worry about millions of dollars, right? You want to die in the sense of being like, I did all I had to do. Nobody wants to leave here early. I never heard nobody saying, oh yeah, that's it for me, I'm ready to go, right? Without wanting to be here and thrive for their life. So why not make sure everything that we do feeds that purpose of wanting to live and be abundant?
No, definitely, and I love that, and that's the thing. I love that y'all giving that information, and even the way you market yourself. And who's behind the marketing on IG anyway? Because it's genius for me. It's just it's like you said, you give it off in a fun IG way to get people attention, and then they locked in. I think every day I get a share from your page to my page from my girl every day. Telling me, oh, look what she said. Look what and it's, I think it's genius. Who's behind that?
The content creator. She's that.
I'm very passionate about my content.
Huh?
Very passionate about my content.
Nah, it's great.
That's a team of to help us out, but she's been behind the content since the beginning, and she's still a part of it. Still do it. Yeah, we got hands on deck now to help us get better content.
Nah, it's definitely great. You said something about like kids, and how do we, I guess, transition? Because I know me and my wife now I want to transition. I have a 3-year-old. I want to transition into that, and I also want to transition my son into eating, that's more vegan and getting more of that way. And I take it your children are vegan at this point, right? Everybody's vegan around. How do we transition our kids?
How old is your son?
I have a 3-year-old.
3-year-old. Okay, so with us, our oldest daughter, she wasn't vegan because we weren't vegan when she was born. We had a little issue with transitioning her early on, and she ended up. What did she end up with? We used to eat all the stuff, you know what I'm saying? So we had to make it feasible for her. We had to make it make sense.
Right.
And the Queen started to come up with more,
tastier recipes. But ultimately, if you've already been giving them sugar, you have to wean them off of it. Don't just take them off of it. They're gonna act like little addicts. So you want to keep yourself sane. So start to wean them off. Like if you've given them juice, start to dilute the juice. Give them something good with something bad. Like you eat your salad or you eat your plant-based meal. You want to get a marshmallow at the end. Something. I don't know. You can come up with it yourself. But the idea is you're going to retrain their mind. And it's good to do it while they're 3 because it's going to be easier, right? You only have 3 years of unlearning. But if you wait till you're 30, now you got 30 years of unlearning.
Right. No, definitely. What are some of the I guess the biggest mistakes you see people that want to turn vegan?
The biggest mistakes is eating all the fake foods and thinking that that's healthier. You might as well eat meat.
And I think that's one of the mistakes I did. Because I really did not know the process. Then as I started doing more research, I realized that I might as well eat meat. I'm eating everything that's fake, and then the way they package it, like it's 100% of
That's like one of the biggest mistakes that everybody's making right now. They're falling for these fake meats, and I think that's going to do more harm than the real meat.
Right? I totally agree. You mentioned something live one day that the body has strict rules to wellness and sickness. What are those rules?
It's a very in-depth, but I can definitely give an overview.
Yeah.
About the circadian rhythm, following the way the body digests. Right, in the morning time, the body is releasing waste. We be adding waste to the body early in the morning. So again, working against our own nature, right? So you want to follow the circadian rhythm, which tells you when to eat, right? So in the morning time, you should detox. Afternoon time, that is when you should have your protein, fats, and carbs. And then at nighttime, you go back into detox types of foods. You want to make sure you're getting your fiber. You want to make sure you're colon cleansing with every meal, high fiber meals. So those are some of the rules that the body follows. No matter what type of lifestyle you eat, you live, how you eat, the body still has its sequential events that happen as it pertains to digesting food.
Dope. Me and my wife, we did the grapefruit. The 3 day, it was hard. It was hard for me. Matter of fact, it might have been hard for both of us. But I think we might have messed it up because I remember watching one of your things. You said we might have juiced. I think we juiced it instead of, you said blend it.
It's the fiber. The fiber is what you needed.
And that thing, it was hard. It was hard. And I should have did it. What I did it and try to go to work. But I think the next time I'm gonna do it, I'm not gonna go anyway. I had the worst headache, and I guess that was my body going through the process. But I had the worst headache for the whole day.
That means you eat a lot of white flour and a lot of sugar. Snack.
I do. Like bread is just like. But I'm trying to get off it right now. But I was in the worst pain, the worst headache, like struggling right there. But I'm gonna try to do it again. Is there any way to soften that, the symptoms or something?
You can blend up some kale with lime and spirulina. Blend it, take 2 per hour, blend it with like 12 ounces of water, drink 2 of those per hour. That should help subside the headache. Stop the fruit juices because the vegetables stabilize the body. So then you switch to vegetable juices and that'll help subside the headache for sure.
Cool. Do you think we I guess, are we predisposed to some of these illnesses? Because I remember growing up, like my mother, no, not my mother, my grandmother had diabetes. She died from being a diabetic. My aunt died in her late 30s, going on 40s. I even have a cousin she caught it when she was like 14, 13. Mm-hmm. Are we predisposed to this, or Absolutely. Everything is just diet related?
Yeah, you're predisposed to the diet. So that's where we run into a lot of problems with. If you're being born to a mom that's mineral deficient, you're going to be mineral deficient too. So if you're eating the same diet, if you're doing the same things that they do, if you're taking all the toxic chemicals, yes, it's inevitable to happen. Maybe 1 out of 1,000 might make it out, but that's not anomaly.
You got to realize, like, as we as children, we come out of our mom's womb, you in the amniotic fluid. And the amniotic fluid is your source of food. And only thing in the amniotic fluid is what your mom consuming. Right. So whatever she's consuming, like you said, you mineral deficient. If you got bad eggs or your daddy got bad sperm because he unhealthy, yeah, that get passed on and it sticks with you. But it's not irreversible.
Yeah.
It's not that you reverse it. It's just, yeah, you come out weak. You come out weak. You definitely do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So are there some things we can reverse other than that? But is it hard to go through?
It's hard to go through, but you can slow down or stop anything. Just like you can slow down and stop a car, you can slow down and stop anything going on in your body.
Without us even going deep into, our great ancestor, Dr. Sebi,
showed us a lot.
He showed us the truth. He shows the truth. He beat the system.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And if that ain't a testimony alone, that's why we keep his name alive.
Absolutely.
Because he showed us all that it was possible. From all the diseases that we thought wasn't curable. We thought that. That's what they tell you. They boost us up with medication, mm-hmm. To mask these things. But he was able to beat it, So salute to the late Dr. Sebi, man.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I really started getting in touch with that. Whenever I think at the time when Nipsey Hussle was talking about him, and Dr. Sebi, they was talking about the things he did, how he cured I think HIV, AIDS, and stuff like that, and how impactful, I guess, even on y'all journey, what y'all doing was he to y'all.
Yes, we actually were Sabians. He was the first person that we were introduced to on his diet, on his lifestyle, about 5-6 years ago. So yeah, he's definitely been impactful. I've taken some of his herbs and things like that. What he's done, you can't denote the work that he's done in the community. So we appreciate.
Ever got a chance to meet his family, kids?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, that definitely be dope. They have some stuff. They be saying some stuff about CMOS too, CMOS and all that.
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all know about CMOS. Does it have different grades and different levels to it?
We're not connoisseurs, but we do hear of the issues with CMOS.
Mm-hmm.
We hear the issues with CMOS. We're not too intertwined with the CMOS. I've had CMOS before, but everybody's going crazy about it. There's multiple ways to be healthy. So we're not fans of fads. So, you know, we just eat good, live good,
Right.
take our herbs, make sure we hydrate, we need. You can get that from sea moss, you can get that from alfalfa, you can get that from comfrey.
There's so many sources that you can get these things from. You know what I'm saying? The only reason, like for me, I'm not on the sea moss train, or just like, again, it's like saturated.
Everybody's
on it, you know, and you know when it's saturated, it's hard to know what's the real and what ain't the real.
Right, and that's what my thought process. I mean, I see everything. I don't know if every sea moss is created the same and the way, because so many people selling it now. Everybody can get you sea moss.
If I was to recommend you or give you a answer, I don't deal with it currently. Just
right.
That, but we still get our source of minerals where we get them from taking supplements, drinking certain herbal teas, and eating certain foods like that. We still get our minerals and stuff.
Yeah.
How y'all, I guess, how y'all feel about that? I guess this vaccine.
Oh, that's
the vaccine, COVID thing.
We're not getting it.
We don't do that.
We're not getting it.
When it comes down to the COVID situation, I mean, I'm not gonna say that it's not a real thing, but again, the earth is here, you know, and it uplifts you. So everything is cured or can be dealt with by getting it off the earth, you know, the body off earth. So whether I don't think the question is it real or not? I think are they telling us how to keep ourselves healthy
or not?
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Anything that we come up against. As far as the vaccines, no, we don't do vaccines. The reason we don't do vaccines, if you go to the CDC website and read what's in these vaccines, there's no reason for us to even take them.
It doesn't even make sense to me.
For some people, I feel like, what's the alternative, right? Because I feel like some kids ain't gonna be able to go to school. Some people are gonna be without a job. So they're gonna make it difficult, maybe for the average person that don't have their own business to go to school, to get on a flight, to go to an outing event. So what's the alternative?
The thing with it is, though, that go back to what we talked about earlier when you had spoke about the mothers and they only had one way of living.
Right.
It's the same concept now. They putting the pressure on you, so enforcing you to choose a way. And most of the time, you choose the quote unquote easy way. And the easy way is taking the vaccine and complying and put my child back in the system. I'm not against
anybody that wants to take the vaccine. If you're not going to take care of your health, if you're not going to go out there and study herbs, if you're not going to commit to your health journey, go ahead and get it, because you're not going to do anything. So if you're out there really trying to find a solution, trust me, the solution's out there. I've done the research. There are many scientists that have published articles on using herbs for SARS coronavirus too. Like, it's there.
We got family that took the vaccine. Like, we got family. And look how close they is to us, and they still choose. Everybody not gonna understand. Everybody not gonna do the research. Everybody not gonna get on this journey, and that's cool. But man, it comes with a price. Everything comes with a price. What it is, you know.
Yeah, we appreciate being on this talk with you. We appreciate you letting us come on your platform and speaking with you. We hope to see this interview sometime in the
Yes, you definitely will. Definitely will.
Tag us, and we'll make sure to share it. What's your name on Instagram so we can follow and I can stay up to date?
I am about that action.
I am about that action. Okay, that's what I like.
I put about that action. I can't find it.
It's about that action podcast, but I am about that action. Yeah, that's my title. That's
all about that, because you know we Iamsurvivingvegan, so I am about that.
Yeah,
action.
You know what I mean. You'll see me. I got other interviews and all that stuff on there, but I definitely appreciate both of y'all. Thank you guys so much. I continue to do your thing. Continue to inform our people, our culture. I'm gonna definitely have this out. Please share it. I know y'all got 300 or 400 or 500K. I'm trying to get on that level. You know, I appreciate help a brother out. But thank y'all. I definitely appreciate that, man.
Post this on your Instagram?
Huh?
You gonna post this on your Instagram?
I'm gonna post this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna post clips on my Instagram, but then I have an actual Facebook. You can probably see it on my link, because I had a link tree there where the actual interview is gonna be. But I have little clips, as you can see on my IG, and then I'm gonna post the actual one on my YouTube page.
Okay, perfect. So we'll definitely share it, man. We appreciate you, brother.
About that action.
Yes, thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate it, man. Y'all have a good night.
Blessings, bro.
Thank you.
action. I'm about that action. I'm about that action. I do it with a passion. I'm about that action. I'm about that action. I'm about that action. I do it with a passion.